looking at section 2.7, we are now going to move a little bit away by simply just evaluating fractions and actually learn how to use them in certain scenarios. So with that being said, let's work through example 1. So it says, you are baking a cake, and the recipe calls for 3 1/2 cups of sugar. Given that you already have given that you have already put in 1 3/4 cups into the cake mix, how much more sugar do you need to put in the mix? So let's see. So we want to know how much more sugar do you need to put in the mix. And we know that we need a total of 3 1/2 cups. And we've put in 1 3/4 cups. So to figure out how much more we need to put in, we're going to take this 3 1/2 cups and subtract it by this 1 3/4 cups. And then, as we've seen, when we subtract two mixed numbers, we first want to convert it into a fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7. Put that plus down here. So we get 7 halves minus, and let's convert this one. So 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. So you get 7/4. And then from here, you are going to want to find a common denominator. So we're going to multiply this 2 by 4, or this 2 by 2, to get the common denominator of 4. So 7 times 2 is 14, and then we put that over 4, and then we're going to subtract 7 over 4. And then 14 minus 7 is 7. We have over 4. So we have 7/4 cups. Or if we want to convert it back into this original number, which I encourage you to do because we don't really see 7/4 cups on food labels. So if we find out how many times we can divide 4 into 7, we'd realize that you can only divide 4 into 7 once. And then once we get to 4, you have to find the difference between 4 and 7. And the difference between those two numbers is 3. So we're going to put that over 3 and then put this over 4. So we get 1 3/4 cups. And that's your answer. And then looking at example 2, I encourage you to pause the video and try this on your own, and let's work through it together. So it says, Fred has a pizza with a total of 8 slices, and he eats 3/8 of the pizza. How many slices did he eat, and how many slices are left? So we actually have 2 questions. We want to know how many slices he ate, and we want to also know how many slices are left. So I'm going to show you how to get to the answer with a couple routes. So we can get to the answer by using, I'm going to call this like the logic route. So we know that we have a total of 8 slices of a pizza. So we can draw out a circle or a pizza. And then we can make 8 pieces. We can divide this pizza into 8 pieces. And if he eats 3/8 of it, that means he ate 3 of those pieces. So we can shade in 3 pieces and take those away. And then from here, well, first off, we already just answered that he ate 3 of those pieces of pizza. So Fred, we can say from here, Fred ate 3 pieces. That's one of our answers. And then also, we can also say, well, we know that there's 8 pieces in total, and you ate 3 of those pieces. So we can do 8 minus 3 to get you 5 pieces that are left. So this is our logic way. However, you can do like the plug and chug route. I like to call it plug and chug. Because when you do this, you're just plugging in numbers or doing numbers. You're just subtracting 2 numbers without simply logicking your way through, which is what we did here. So there's another route we can do, and we can take the total of 8 slices of pizza and subtract 3/8 of the pizza. So when you do this, you want to find a common denominator, and we're going to put this 8 over 1 and then multiply the 8. So you get 8 times 8, which is 64, over 8 minus 3/8, which is 16/3, which doesn't divide evenly. But if you do 16 divided by 3 in your calculator, you'll get approximately 5 pieces. So that's also another way. Looking at example 3, encourage you to pause the video and try this on your own. Let's go through it. So it says, Sarah needed 1/3 cup of flour to make 1 apple pie. If she has made 7 apple pies, how many cups of flour would Sarah need? So we know that to make 1 apple pie, we need 1/3 cup. If we want to make 7 apple pies, we're going to take this 1/3 cup and multiply it by 7. So we get 7 times 1, which is 7, and we put that over 3. So we have 7/3 cups. Or if we want to convert it into a mixed number, we can multiply 3 2 times to get to 6. And then the difference between 6 and 7 is 1. And we're going to put that over 3 at the denominator. So we get 2 1/3 cups. And that's your answer for this one. Looking at example 4, we have that Kevin cooked 3 pounds of mashed potatoes for a dinner party. The guests only ate 2/3 of the amount that he cooked. How much did they eat? So one thing I do want to point out is whenever you see the word of, that usually means multiplication. So with that logic, we can take the 3 pounds and multiply by 2/3. So we have 3 times 2/3. And now one thing you'll notice, if we put this 3 over 1, this 3 and this 3 cross reduces. So we get 3 divided by 3, which is 1, and 3 divided by 3, which is 1. So we get 1 times 2, which is 2, over 1, and 2 divided by 1 is 2. So we get 2 pounds or 2 labels of that mashed potatoes.